Hello, Criminal Justice Administration learners. I thought it would be a good time for me to talk a little bit to you about the upcoming course project, which will be due in a few weeks. You can access the guidelines for the course project under the Sidebar tab, Course Project, or under the Modules tab, Course Project. In there you will find a link to guidelines and also a link to resources and a submission area. The idea about the course project is for you to prepare a report that will run 4 to 6 pages in length about a criminal justice agency that is of interest to you. That criminal justice agency can be at the federal level, or the state level, or the local level. The resources for finding agencies that you might want to write your profile report about are provided under the Course Project tab. You can find federal agencies under the federal agency link, which starts with usa.gov. And also up in the right-hand side, there's a little tab menu that you might want to open as well to look further in more detail, because the link that will open when you open the USA.gov tab is an alphabetical listing of all federal agencies that are available through that link. If you decide on a state agency, you can open that link, and also there are some related links on the sidebar that might help you find specifically criminal justice agencies. So when you begin to look at these agencies, what I would like you to do is to find an agency that you really would be interested in knowing more about what they do and why they do it, and their history and their administration, their functions, and the issues that are involved in oversight of government activities and providing public protection, public safety, or court services that are offered by that agency. The reason for having it be of interest to you is you might want to work in that agency, or you might want to know more about it because you've heard about it in the news. Whatever your motivations, I want it to be one that interests you. Once you've selected the agency that you're going to profile in your course report, I would like you to submit in the discussion board area a brief outline. That brief outline consists of the name of the federal, state, or local agency. Then it also has a brief statement about why you're interested in knowing more about that government agency. And then finally, I'd like at least 2 links provided to web resources that you're going to use to provide your report, or if you're deciding to do an interview at a local agency, the name and the title of the individual that you plan to interview. Just briefly going through what are the requirements for the report. The most important thing I want to point out is that this is an important component of your grade. It makes up 15% of your course grade. Then let's talk a little bit about what are the requirements. The requirements is that the report have sections on the mission and goals of the organization, its history, its organizational structure, meaning that you talk about the units and bureaus that make up the organization. Then you also want to talk about personnel methods. How do they recruit for jobs? What type of titles do they have in the agency? And if you can find information on the pay grades and levels that are provided by the agency for employees, that would be useful information as well. Also, we'd like to learn about any ongoing training programs through your paper, and so you want to describe those and find out, if you're able, budget information about how much the agency uses in funds each year to operate. And if you can get some historic information, that would be great. Also, if there's information on targeted areas of improvement or goals that are associated with the budget, that would also be good information to have in the budget information. And In addition, if the agency regularly works with outside agencies, other units of government, uh, for collaboration purposes or to complete its mission, please mention those other agencies as well. I'm looking now at the other requirements. I think at the end you're going to want to have a statement, maybe 300 to 500 words about current issues that are facing the agency and perhaps some of their most recent accomplishments. Most of this information you can find online for federal agencies and for state agencies and for the larger local agencies. But some of it you may have to get out of news sources, or some of it you may want to collect through individual interviews of people that actually work in the agency. So let's just take a moment to think about some of the agencies that you might want to write your profile report about. At the federal level, in the executive branch, many people have written reports for this course on the FBI, and of course that's been in the news all the time in the past year, so that would be a good agency. But others are more interested in the Department of the Federal Bureau of Prisons, or you might be interested in the U.S. Marshal Service, or the overall Justice Department. The only thing I ask is that it be an agency that has a relationship to criminal justice functions. At the state level, the most frequent agency that is profiled in reports by students in this course is the New York State Police, and you'll find a lot of information about the state police on their website. But you might also be interested in writing about the Department of Corrections at the state level, or perhaps one of the county level prisons in one of the sheriff's departments. That's been a frequent topic for this paper for students in the past. If you decide to write your report about a local agency, for example, the Troy Police Department or the North Greenbush Police Department or the Albany Sheriff's Department, you can find information on the web, but if you know someone who works in the agency, or if you want to contact the agency to meet with someone to discuss these various administrative activities, such as their organization and staffing and budget, that's a good approach at a local agency where you might have access to someone you know who works there, to some family member, or to someone who's just willing to meet with a student to help get background information to write your report. The report, again, does have to be at least 4 to 6 pages in length. It has to be a typewritten report on a word processing application. It needs to be documented, and most of the documentation will be for web-based sources or for interview sources, and those sources must be listed at the end of the report using APA guidelines. If you do an interview, it's important that the name of the person interviewed, the date of the interview, and their title are provided at the end of the report. Again, this course project, this report on a criminal justice agency, is an important component of your grade. It will be due in a few weeks. Your outline is due about a week ahead of the final report, and I think you're going to enjoy it. Most students enjoy doing the research and writing this report, and I enjoy reading these reports very much. Though I've given you examples, you're absolutely free to choose any agency that you're interested in, but I will look at the discussion board to see what agency you've selected to be sure it fits the requirements of the course project. So enjoy the activity, and I look forward to reading your reports.